Visitors to central London are reminded that tomorrow that the irregularly scheduled Tommy Robinson show will once again be running. Please be careful when visiting central London, as you may encounter roaming tribes of people with blue bags containing alcohol. You may also encounter people with placards and Palestinian flags. You don't want to be caught between this lot out there. So, as they used to say on that old American TV show, Hill Street Blues, be careful out there, as there's quite a possibility if you wander down central London tomorrow, you may encounter these strange roving tribes of Eloi and Morlocks having a bash at each other. Uh, Having said that and taking the mickey a bit, let's have a look at the sort of news article for tomorrow for Tommy. Since the Independent's annoying and doing a paywall, and I'm not paying them to look at an article, and I'm not going to make you do it either, and I'm only interested in basic facts, not a deep analysis of it. At this point, we can do that later. Met Police fail as robust action as Tommy Robinson march and counter protests take place in central London. Hundreds of police are gearing up to respond swiftly and decisively, whatever that means, as a large protest by supporters of Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley Romans, Andrew McMasters, or whatever he's calling himself this weekend, and a counter demonstration take place in central London on Saturday. Far-right activists will despise the release of Robinson's real name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, who's in solitary confinement in prison after committing contempt of court. Well, that's what tends to happen when you commit contempt of court and you keep doing it. Then again, Tommy's got to keep selling the brand, hasn't he? Under the banners Free Tommy, Stop the Isolation, and Unite the Kingdom. I wasn't aware it had suddenly become disunited. Has Scotland suddenly left? Has Northern Ireland reunified with the Republic of Ireland or something, and I missed it? They planned to gather outside Waterloo Station for midday before marching towards Whitehall via Westminster Bridge. Now, to be fair, last time Tommy's supporters marched, they were relatively peaceful and didn't cause a huge amount of trouble. If I'd maybe not to stereotype people, it's fair not to stereotype them too much, I suppose, as well. And they did manage to make some effort to behave themselves. A static assembly will then take place in Parliament Street as Metropolitan Police officers attempt to keep them separate from a protest organised by Stand Up to Racism around Piccadilly Circus, Haymarket, and Trafalgar Square. And I would suggest if anything was going to kick off, it would probably be there, because Piccadilly Circus has a load of small side streets, loads of places to muck about in, as does the Haymarket. And I suggest if you were thinking of wandering down there for a bit of shopping or to nearby art galleries, you might want to possibly do it a bit later in the day or another day. Tourists and shoppers are encouraged to use other routes to avoid the area. Indeed. Elon Musk, of course, who seems to be everywhere, he's probably living in your cupboards when you go to the kitchen. He was supporting Robbins on his social media site, formerly Twitter. This month launched a slew of attacks on Keir Starmer and other Labour figures. Elon Musk probably launches attacks on everything. Elon Musk is swiftly becoming the sort of real world version of a kind of, I don't know what to really characterize him. I've seen him characterized as a kind of defective Tony Stark was one way of putting it, or a Bruce Wayne gone wrong in the real world. I suppose you could do that, but I think it's, much as I love comic books and that kind of material, I think it's too simplistic. He's too complicated and a weird a figure to sum up so easily. The South African-born billionaire's meddling in British politics began him hitting. Oh, my goodness sake, can people stop using AI to write the news articles, or at least if they do, or using word processors, at least edit it properly, began him hitting. How much effort would it have cost somebody to edit that and put began with him hitting out of the Prime Minister's record of prosecuting child grooming gangs? Kirk here said those spreading misinformation are not interested in the victims. Well, the problem is it's all got so messy and noisy now that it's become ridiculous. On one side, we have Tommy Robinson's group of supporters. Now, much as I loathe some of the politics on that side, they do have a right to express them. It's where it starts becoming sort of politics becomes sort of the push a bin up to the side of a hostel or something, as we saw last year, and set fire to it. No, that's not politics. Sorry, guys. It's in criminal endangerment and it's arson, and the people doing it were not political prisoners, no matter how many populist channels tell you if I go outside and do that right now to somebody's house, I expect to be arrested and bunged in jail because it is called a crime. It is wrong. It is evil. It is attempted murder, whether you like it, don't like it, or whatever. You can jump up and down about it. You can do comments about, would you like to have them all in your house, or whatever silly nonsense you'll come out with, but it's still an attempt to kill. Commander Louis Puddifoot, who is in charge of the weekend's policing operation, that's a great surname, by the way. It sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings. Presumably the Harfoots are in charge of reconnaissance operations or something, and the Baggins are doing stealth stuff as well. We are well prepared for these protests, having been in discussions with both sets of organisers in recent weeks. Well, we'll see. I mean, I personally, would not particularly want to be between this if they all kick off. And the Piccadilly Circus and the Haymarket are ideal spots for them to kick off, especially the Haymarket, which has a load of side roads and feeder roads that go off all in all sorts of directions. And if you wanted to have a big ruck and a Barney, it's an ideal spot for it, unfortunately. I could just see something going wrong there, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be wrong and it will all develop peacefully. I tend to be a cynic by nature, so... an admin post on Robinson's X account. Tomorrow we make a stand, meeting at 12 p.m. Waterloo Station. We'll proceed to Downing Street, stand against the political persecution and isolation of Tommy Robinson, and of course help him sell the Tommy Robinson brand, which is very important. Visitors are now being denied to say entry. First they came for Tommy. You can see where they're borrowing that from. No, Tommy, you're not being persecuted by a fascist regime, and Britain is not the Third Reich, much as you're trying to compare it to by using that particular formulaic phrase. Stand up to racism pointed to recent Islamic attacks in London and elsewhere. Spokesman Liam Mohammed said Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has become the leading defender of Tommy Robinson and is spreading dangerous lies. Well, Elon is a unique figure in world history at this point, I would say, and a rather bizarre figure. If Trump was bizarre and odd and singular figure, Elon is even more so. And really, it's difficult to sum him up in any simplistic formula. Just as I don't think it's wise to sum Trump up using stuff like the Orange Man or the Cheeto Boy or whatever phrase used for him. I think these figures are rather more complicated than that and have rather more underlying problems that drive them. Unfortunately, I don't think they're great for our sanity, but that's another matter. We must drive the far rights off our streets. And here we go again, battle lines in the culture camp. Now, the Standard is doing a very basic bit of reporting there, and I intend to come back to this with some rather more in-depth reporting. But if you're near London tomorrow and you fancy an exciting day out, wander down to Piccadilly. You may have a wonderful day out with a nice bit of joy and jollity with this lot going off each other. Hopefully you won't, but you never know. Just be careful out there.